that all of the guests then?
Yes, I believe so. 6, 7, 8. Yes, all of them here and waiting for lunch to be served.
Oh dear, already? I'll have to rush about like a headless chicken now.
Darling, it's just 8 guests. You are good with even an army.
That's quite right. But when I have only the cooking to take care of, not the serving, the dishes and the rest.
It's just one night and the maids and the help will be here tomorrow morning.
Will they? Really?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what our employers Mr. and Mrs. Owen have written in our contract. And given that they paid us 1 month in advance, I believe their word is good enough.
The contract you signed without even meeting them through letters in the post.
Yes, but what else were we to do? Jobs are difficult to come by when there's 2 of us looking for employment. And then we needed employment, didn't we?
That we did. After Miss Grady.
Athledia, let's get on with dinner, shall we?
Yes, dinner then. Now, did you pick out all the provisions for breakfast tomorrow from the pantry? I like it all planned out, you know.
I think so. Lemons, lipsols, cream, eggs, tomatoes, and butter. That's all, wasn't it?
It's strange, but there is hardly any provisions for breakfast tomorrow or any meal after. What do our employers expect me to cook from? Shoot some birds and eat some stones? Beats me why the owners wanted to buy this place. A lone house on an island.
I do admit it's a bit taxing, alright, with no phone and other means of communication, but you know how strange the rich can get.
Oh, this lot seems like they're completely loony.
Darling, you have to admit, the view is nice and the pay is good, and so is the weather when it's not stormy. I think it'll do us some good to be cut off from the world.
After what happened? Yes.
Athledia, everything's shipshape now. Now then, shall we take in the soup, my love?
Yes. Rogers, where is Mrs. Owen?
Mr. and Mrs. Owen won't be down from London until tomorrow. Miss, I thought you knew. I've got a list of guests here, miss. If you would like to make the introductions, please. These are Mrs. Owen's instructions to me, to give this to you.
Very well then, on with it. May I have everyone's attention, please? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary, Vera Claythorne. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London and I'm afraid won't be down until tomorrow. If I could request everyone to introduce themselves.
Lombard, Captain Lombard.
Marston, Anthony Marston.
Davis. Davis is the name. Pleased to meet you. Bit of a stiff climb up here, but reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Oh, Durban, you know.
General Mackenzie, how do you do?
Miss Emily Brent.
Won't you have something to drink?
I never touch alcohol.
Wargrave. Justice Lawrence Wargrave.
Dr. Armstrong? And that is all of us, I believe.
You are late. The last arrival. Did you come down by train?
I motored down.
That's almost 200 miles, isn't it? How long did it take you?
I didn't hurry. I never hurry. Bad for the nerves. But some young idiot nearly drove me into the ditch.
cozy warm. Not like England at all.
I should have thought you might feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Oh no.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so.
All this younger generation is no good. No good at all.
You don't like youth? I see.
Is there any reason why I should?
I hadn't realized he was a judge. Looks rather like my grumpy old uncle.
Oh, he is famous for the maximum number of death sentences ever awarded by any judge in history.
Doctor, which car do you drive, by the way? My car is an absolute wizard. A sports Barletti Carlotta. You don't see many of them on the roads.
Did you come from London?
Yes, 208 miles, and I did it in a bit over 4 hours. Not too bad, huh?
I think you passed me on the road.
I did?
You nearly drove me into the ditch.
What? Now do you expect me to say sorry?
Oh, if I'd seen your number, I would have reported you and made you rot in jail.
Gentlemen, how about another drink?
Good idea.
Aren't they sweet? Those 10 little China soldier figures. Oh, and there's the old nursery rhyme.
What are you talking about? What figures? What nursery rhymes?
10 little soldier boys going out to dine.
One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One went and overslept himself, and then there were 8.
8 little soldier boys traveling in Devon. 1 got left behind, and then there were 7.
My name is U.N. Owen. I've brought you here to charge you with the following crimes. General André Salvé, Croix de Guerre, that you achieved honor from dishonor and sent 5 men to their certain deaths. Ilona Margon, actress, that you did bring about the death of your husband in a most cold-blooded and ruthless manner. Dr. Edward Armstrong, that you did kill Mrs. Ivy Benson and betray your sacred trust. Michel Ravin, entertainer, that you are guilty of the murder of William and Lisa Stern, whose bodies, when they were found, were almost unrecognizable. Vera Clyde, secretary, that you murdered your sister's fiancé, Richard Barclay, by slow, deliberate poison. Hugh Lombard, that you were guilty of the death of Jennifer Hayes, who was to bear your child. Arthur Cadden, judge of the Queen's Bench, that you were responsible for the death of an innocent man, one Edward Seaton, who was hanged according to your judgment. Wilhelm Rohr, that by perjured testimony you sent Kurt Landor to a cold and lonely death in a prison cell. Adelsa Martino, that you maliciously and brutally caused the death of your invalid employer for your own financial gain.
She's fainted, that's all. She'll be round in a minute. Get some brandy.
My name is U.N. Owen. I've brought you here to charge you with the following crimes.
Turn it off!
General
Turn it off!
André
It's
Salvé.
horrible!
Who the devil turned it on though? And set it going?
We must inquire into that.
Croix de guerre.
Oh dear me! Oh dear me!
Honor from dishonor, and sent 5 men.
Rogers, turn that off,
to
please.
death.
You'll be alright now, Mrs. Rogers. Just a nasty turn. Perhaps instead of lurking around the dining room, you should go back to the kitchen and start cleaning up.
Yes, miss.
Who was it who put that record on the gramophone? Was it you, Rogers?
It's Mr. Owens. He gave Rogers orders to put it on.
Now then, doctor, you want a drink after all this?
No, thank you. I never touch it.
I think the time has come for all of us to pool our information. Now, what is it that you know about our unknown host?
We were engaged by a letter detailing everything about our employment. Everything since has been by post.
We never met them. Leave alone speak to them.
There's something very peculiar about all this. I received a letter too from Mrs. Owen, who said she had met me last summer and wanted to invite me to stay at a new place. I can't remember actually meeting her ever.
I was offered this post from Mrs. Owen by letter too. I thought she got to me through an agency in London.
Got a wire from a pal of mine, Badger Berkeley, about this party here. But I see he isn't here.
Mr. Owens wrote me that he was worried about his wife's health and wanted a report without her being alarmed. A very handsome fee was offered too.
I received my own decoy letter from an old friend, Lady Constance Culmington, who is obviously not present here.
Got a letter from this fellow Owen. Thought I might have met him sometime at the club.
Same sort of thing. Invitation mentioning mutual friends.
Amongst the names on the record was that of William Henry Blow. But there is no one called Blow here.
The name of Davis was not mentioned.
Well then, cat's out of the bag. My name isn't Davis.
You're William Henry Blower.
That's right.
Not only are you here under a false name, but you're a first-class liar. You claim to have come from Durban, South Africa. But I know Durban and South Africa well, and I'm prepared to swear that you've never set foot there in your life.
You gentlemen have got me wrong. I'm an ex-CID man. I've got my credentials and I can prove it. Mr. Owen sent good money order for expenses and said I was to join the house party, posing as a guest to keep an eye on you all. Said Mrs. Owen had got some valuable jewels. Mrs. Owen, my foot. I don't believe there's any such person.
Your conclusions are, I think, justified.
What about the Christian names? Or like Norman Owen, Una Nancy Owen, Ewan Owen, or unknown?
Oh, it's Madge!
I wish to say this. Our unknown friend accuses me of the murder of one Edward Seton. I remember Seton perfectly well. Seton came up before me for trial in June 1930. He was charged with the murder of one elderly woman, but kept maintaining his innocence. In passing the sentence of death, I did my duty and nothing more.
I've just been thinking. John and Lucy Combs. Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, couldn't help it. Just an accident.
Might I say a word, sir?
Go ahead, Rogers.
There was a mention, sir, of me and of Mrs. Rogers and of Miss Jennifer Brady. There isn't a word of truth in it. We were with Miss Brady when she died. She was always in poor health, sir. Always.
There was a storm, sir, the night she died. The telephone was out of order. We couldn't get the doctor to her.
I went for him, sir, on foot, but he got there too late.
Devoted to her Weaver. Anyone will tell you the same.
Come on. I'm sure she left you both a little money, didn't she?
And why wouldn't she? After all, we served her selflessly.
I'm sorry to disappoint all of you. I plead guilty. It's perfectly true. I left the soldiers who were natives alone in an ambush. They all died, of course. Matter of self-preservation.
You abandoned your men?
Not quite the act of a proper gentleman, I'm afraid. But after all, natives don't mind dying, you know. They don't feel about it as Europeans do.
Well, in my opinion, Mr. Owen is not sane.
I suggest that we leave here tonight and report it all to the police. And Armstrong, I could race you back, you know.
I beg your pardon, sir, but there's no boat on the island.
Why don't you telephone back to the mainland?
There's no telephone as well.
Mrs. Rogers, could you please get on with the nightcap since you're looking rather chatty and recovered now?
This is all rather overwhelming.
I will take you to your room then, Rogers. I insist you rest it out.
The whole thing's like a detective story. Positively thrilling.
Think of the 2 young lives you took with that racing car of yours. You are a criminal.
Young man, now, watch how you answer that.
What's this about crime?
I'm all for crime. Here's to it.
My God, he's dead.
Dead? Do you mean the fellow just choked and died?
General Mackenzie, Marston's death isn't what we call a natural death.
Someone slipped something in his whiskey?
Yes, by the smell of it, it's cyanide. It acts instantly.
Oh look, here's 2 of the little soldiers of the mantelpiece. Broken.
Oh, there you are, sir. I've been all over the place looking for you. Could you come up and have a look at my wife, sir?
Yes, of course. Is she feeling under the weather still?
She's...
I wish the boat would come. I hate this place.
Alright, General.
Leslie, my dear?
How poorly you hold your drink. This young lady here is Bella Clayton.
Forgive me, I took her for my wife.
Mrs. Rogers is dead. Died in her sleep.
What was it? Heart?
She had a bad fright earlier today.
Or could she also have been poisoned, Doctor?
With the same stuff as young Marston?
No, not cyanide. It would have to be some narcotic or hypnotic.
You gave her a mild dose of sedative, you said.
Didn't give her too much, did you?
The amount I gave her could have not hurt anyone. What do you mean?
Alright, no offense, no offense.
Perhaps it was heart failure. The quality of domestic stuff is deteriorating every day. All these secretaries and cooks and all, just useless.
What caused her heart to fail?
Conscience. You all heard. She was accused, together with her husband, of having deliberately murdered a former employer, an old lady.
And you believe it's true, Miss Brent?
Certainly. You all saw. Call it if you prefer an act of God.
Excuse me, miss. I'm getting on with tea and later dinner. I'm not much of a cook, I'm afraid, like my late wife. I could manage some fried potatoes, and then there's tinned fruit and cheese and biscuits.
That will be fine, Rogers.
Dinner? Dinner? We shan't be here for dinner.
The really significant thing is the failure of the boat to arrive. It means we're being deliberately cut off from help.
Couldn't we light up a bonfire up on top of the island so that they'd see it?
All signals, I'm sure, have been instructed to be ignored. We're cut off, alright?
We can try to find this Mr. Unknown.
He's as dangerous as a rattlesnake.
The rattlesnake at least gives warning of its approach.
Warning? My god, yes, that's our warning! 10 little soldier boys. There were 10 of us, weren't there? 10 little soldier boys going out to dine. One went and choked himself.
Austin choked himself, didn't he? And then
9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One overslept himself.
overslept himself. That part fits Mrs. Rogers rather well, doesn't it?
You don't think? There were 10 of us when we arrived. Now we're 8.
Do you think he wants to kill us all?
Yes, I think he does.
Each one fits with the rhyme.
No, it's impossible. It's coincidence. It must be coincidence.
None of us will ever leave this island.
Can't somebody shut up, Grandpa?
Nobody's got a revolver by any chance? I suppose that's too much to hope for. I never carried mine. Never thought how bad the whole thing could turn.
I've got one.
I suggest Captain Normal searches the house while we do the island. Come on, Armstrong.
I'm gonna sit here and keep thinking.
Where did I put that skin of wool?
Wasting time. We should just sit quietly and wait.
Wait? For what?
The end, of course. I wish I could find Leslie. Of course, I was a lot older than she was. She was only 26. Arthur Richmond was 27. I thought she took a motherly interest in the boy. Damn fool, wasn't I? When I was out in France, she wrote to the both of us. But she put the letters in the wrong envelope. So I knew.
Oh no! She was having that affair, and you did send that man to his death!
Yes, I sent him to his death. Leslie never knew. I never told her I found out. We went on as usual. In a few years, she died. And I suppose, in a way, it was murder.
I can't find it anywhere, so I'll just have to have some tea and look later.
What about Beatrice Taylor? That was the name, wasn't it?
Who?
And then she went and drowned herself?
Now that we're alone, that girl Beatrice Taylor, all of 17 years old, was in my service. She seemed like she had nice manners and was clean and willing. But later, I found out how she was a loose girl with no morals. Disgusting. She was pregnant and unmarried. I refused to keep her an hour under my roof. I accused her of her sins and broke her down utterly.
Didn't you blame yourself?
Yes.
Tea is served.
There's no cover on the island. No caves. No one could hide anywhere.
That's right. What about the house? Lombard?
No one in the house but ourselves. I've been over it from attic to cellar. Good God! There's a knife in Mackenzie's back.
He's dead. He's dead.
But he can't be. Who could have done it? It was only us on the island.
Exactly, my dear sir. There's only one place, where a successful murderer could hide.
One place? Where?
Here in this room. Mr. Owen is one of us.
If you asked me who I'd suspected, I'd say Dr. Armstrong.
I refuse to stand for this nonsense. Say, shall we remove the general's body and put him in his room?
Yes, let me give you a hand.
Has to be Dr. Armstrong. Don't you see? He has the knowledge and the chance.
I should like to propose certain measures of safety. We should all adopt them. It's a good thing I carry my reference books with me. Let me fetch them.
Let me go fetch my revolver then.
I'm cold. I need to go fetch my sweater.
I'll get some sticks and get a nice fire going.
It's cold. Has Rogers got the sticks yet?
My God, sticks! Blow, let's go and check, shall we?
My God, the poem. Is another one gone? Are there only 6?
In the scullery. He's dead. Alright.
6 little soldier boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. Nothing wrong with any of us.
While she was sitting there, one of us.
Which of us?
By the way, I'm sorry, my man. I can't find my revolver. I've looked everywhere. You don't suppose the killer has it?
That's a likely story.
Why don't you use your brains, Blower? If I'd wanted you, I would have shot the lot of you by this time. Pop, pop, and pop.
We shouldn't just sit here doing nothing. There must be something we can do.
But soon we shall all be dead.
Reminds me of your patient, Dr. Armstrong. Poor Louise Cleese. Was it drink or nerve that made you kill her, doctor?
Drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. God help me. I was drunk when I operated. My hands shaking all over the place. I can still remember her. And yes, I killed her.
So Owens was right. Seems he's been right about almost everyone.
I'm rather hungry. What about something to eat?
If you like, I'll go out and open some tins of biscuits and make some coffee.
Miss Claythorne, it might be inadvisable to eat or drink anything you prepared out of our sight.
Oh! You think it's me, don't you?
I think it's Blower.
By the way, Miss Claythorne suspects Doctor. I suspect Sir Lawrence, Blow suspects me, and Armstrong suspects Blower. How are we with cigarettes?
The whole box upstairs in my suitcase. I'll go get it.
Hardly likely a woman.
Who's that? Who's that?
The window was open in my room. He blew out the candle as I opened the door. Then suddenly, a long strand of seaweed grabbed my throat. It was like I was being strangled by a wet hand.
But who fired that shot?
He's dead. Shot through the head.
One got in Chancery, and then there were four. It's you! You put that seaweed there. You did it all! You're mad!
This is preposterous. I refuse to stay another minute.
Wait till this morning, doctor. Just a few more hours. He's gone. Let's put the judge in another room, shall we?
Three little soldier boys sitting in a row, thinking as they guzzle, who's the next to go?
Oh, Philip, must you make fun of it all?
Well, we found that one shoe of Dr. Armstrong on the cliff edge. It seems like Dr. Armstrong has committed suicide. But it's all very circumstantial.
Suppose he really is dead.
I'm a bit suspicious of death without bodies. Death is all around us now.
Death. Yes, death. It's time I confess. The man mentioned in the recording, Landor, was innocent, alright. My superiors were under pressure to blame the robbery on someone. Landor got caught. Wrong guy at the wrong time. Between us, we beat him a bit much. The poor sort died, but I got me promoted as payment. What's that? A board? A board?
Oh, God!
Three little soldier boys walking in a zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then three were two. Blower's dead. A clever trap. All set. A wire attached to something above. His head's crushed. A great bronze bear holding a clock from the landing.
Don't you feel that there's someone watching and waiting? Please, Philip, let's get out of here. If they were a boat, perhaps they'd see us.
Okay, we'll go to the top of the island and wait for relief to come. Hello? There's something washed up on the rocks.
It looks like a body. Armstrong's body. So there's no one on this island. No one at all. Except us two.
Yes, Vera. That was a very pretty trick of yours. With that wire, quite neat. Old Wargrave always knew you were dangerous. You did drown that kid after all.
I didn't kill that child. It was someone else.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. Hugh. The boy Peter was born after his father's death. If he'd been a girl, Hugh would have got everything and Peter would be alive.
Oh, the tale of the wicked uncle.
Believe me, he was wicked, but I didn't know. I was in love with him. When I saw Peter swimming out to the rock, I flew to save him. But Hugh stopped me. Don't be a fool, he said.
Well, it's a pretty story. And then I suppose Hugh let you down?
Yes, Hugh let me down. Can't you believe the truth when you hear it?
I'm no saint, but there's one thing I won't stand for, and that's murder.
You won't stand for murder? What about those natives that you left to die in Africa?
You can't fool me any longer.
Why didn't I see it before? It's in your face! The face of a killer! Oh! If you come one step nearer, I'll shoot!
Vera, Vera, Vera. Young, lovely, and quite mad.
It's all come true. My 10 little soldiers' plan. My rhyme. Silence in court. You know, Vera Claythorne. All my life, I wanted to take life. I could only sentence the guilty to death, but it wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted to do it by myself, with my own hands.
Stop!
You were all guilty, you know, but the law couldn't touch you. So I had to take the law into my hands, starting with Marston, first with cyanide, then the others, one by one. I killed them all. The end was bound to be interesting. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, I sentence you to death.
Oh, stop! I'm not guilty!
Not long ago, one night on a ship, I met your Hugh. He told me the most intriguing story. I loved the murderess, he said. You see, she did it for me. I knew the moment I looked at her. I shan't be around to find out. I shall be found laid neatly on my bed, shot through the forehead with a gun, with your fingerprints on it. I have thought it through to the last detail.
Oh, stop!
And now you have killed Lombard, haven't you? How does it feel to be a killer? To be guilty? One little soldier boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none.